Do you remember the first time in your life where you realized that things may not be what they appear? I'd like to hear from you in a comment below when you started having your awakening, when you scratched your head and said, things are not adding up. I need to dig deeper. We are going to do some deep digging today, and we are going to talk about NASA, and we are going to look at their exact declarations and some of their artists that are actually creating the images that NASA is presenting. So buckle up, we are going to be digging deep. I've got lots to share with you. So let me dive right into the sponsor message for today's video. And we are going to hop right on over to healthwithpeggy.com. Friends, it's kind of sad when we find out that we've been snookered, that we've been bamboozled, and we've been hogwashed. This has been happening for many years, and more people are waking up to the deception. Sometimes that truth is facing us right in front of our face, and we are blind to it. People don't even see what actually is being presented. So I did a video a few days ago about NASA when the information came out with the image that said it came from the Hubble telescope the Webb telescope. And what I want to do is show you the image that I showed earlier, and it was kind of funny. I thought it was funny. It was on my Facebook page, and somebody had sent this to me. And let me just cue that up for you here in one moment. Here we go. We're going to take a look at this image. I thought it was pretty funny. It says 4.6 billion light years away, super crisp and clear, and then it said 10 feet away on the security cam. And you lovely, healthy Americans had wonderful responses to this. Some of you tried to justify the difference in the camera and so forth. It was very interesting to read. And then I thought this was a really funny. Actually, this is pretty funny. It says NASA just using 80s school photo background like we ain't going to notice. That was kind of funny as well. And I don't even know if this image is true or whether they created this, if they put this picture of this child on top of the Webb image, but it is kind of funny to me. And there are a lot of things that I want to show you in this video related to what NASA themselves are saying. So first of all, we are going to go to this fellow here, Joseph De Pasquale. He is a visualization specialist, a graphic designer, and a web developer. And he says that he is the senior data imaging developer in the Office of Public Outreach at the Space Telescope Science Institute. And then prior to that, he was the science imager for NASA. And it says, if you have ever seen a space image with X-ray data in it, and you know I'm looking at all those X's as well, you've probably seen my work. Having a background in both art and science has given me a unique skill set. I use art and aesthetics to prepare astronomical data for the creation of press quality imagery. And he has his portfolio here. I guess this is supposed to be the stars. And the visualization specialist is his title, or when he was working for NASA. I have worked in data analysis and visualization for the past 15 years. So this is a picture that he created. It's not actually an accurate image. It is an artist rendering. And he's not the only one that does this. There are others. Let me go a little further here. Hang on one second. I'm going to cue this up for you. All right, there is another fellow that is currently one of the multimedia artists for NASA. And let's take a look over here and we'll see what his resume says. We're going to hop right on over to Twitter and let's take a look, shall we? Tim Pyle, his handle here is @TimmyPyle, multimedia producer for NASA and Caltrans missions, former Hollywood animator. All right, are you following me? Yes, it's made up. And he is the creator of the PC game called Dum Dum. Yes. Now, this may be shocking for some of you that believe that these images are coming directly from space and that they haven't been created by artists or enhanced by artists. So we're going to look a little deeper here, and this is on his page. He talks about, here we go. How in the heck did researchers take a picture of the burbling black hole hidden in the center of our galaxy? And then this video shows what happens. And he even says that how they created this image out of multiple different images. And the video itself is kind of funny because I believe that it is there to deceive and confuse people. So that's interesting. I'll have to cover this person someday. This fellow, Tim, is known for, or maybe he's not known, but what he does is he creates images of exoplanets. So let's dig a little deeper, shall we? Here we go. Tim Pyle is a former visual effects animator for Hollywood. His credits include various Nickelodeon shows, Invader Jim, SpongeBob SquarePants, feature films including X-Men, Looney Tunes, science fiction films for which he won an Emmy. He has worked at Caltech IPAC since 2004. He develops artwork and animation for many high-profile NASA missions. Here we go, including the Spitzer Space Telescope, the planet-hunting Kepler Space Telescope, JPL's Exoplanet Division. His work has been featured multiple times on journal, newspaper, and magazine covers. So right here, NASA and the Jet Propulsion Laboratory is telling us that they have an animator, a visual effects animator for Hollywood, creating the animation for these high-profile NASA missions. So this is irrefutable. These are facts. And I know that it can be hard for people that maybe have not been exposed to this kind of truth before and want to live in the sci-fi world of what they're showing you on TV and social media. But the fact of the matter is they're telling us right here plainly. I'm going to queue up a couple of more images here to share with you in just a moment. All right, here we go. I'm going to share my screen again, and we are going to hop on over to NPR. Now, NPR is not some right-wing media outlet. It's actually quite liberal, and this was an article in 2016. And here we have, again, a computer-generated artist rendition illustrator, and it says right here, the artist impression shows a best guess of what the surface of the planet Proxima b, these names are so funny, might look like as it orbits the red dwarf star Proxima Centauri, the closest star to our solar system. Maybe Mars was the model. I don't know if they're trying to mock people who believe this, or they are just I don't know, being a little bit cheeky, but it says when scientists recently announced that they had discovered a new planet orbiting our closest stellar neighbor, Proxima Centauri, they also released an artist conception of the planet. The picture of a craggy canyon illuminated by a reddish-orange sunset looked like an image that could have been taken on Mars by one of NASA's rovers. Oh yes, I'm sure exactly there is a rover on Mars taking pictures, absolutely. Why isn't it on the moon? That's my question. But the alien scene was actually completely made up. They're telling you right here, friends. They are telling you in black and white. It is part of an ever-increasing gallery of images depicting real planets beyond our solar system that, in fact, no one has ever seen. I'm sorry. This is science fiction. How do they know they're real planets if no one has ever seen them? Astronomers detect these planets by looking for how a planet's gravity tugs on its star or how a planet blocks a star's light. Over the last 2 decades, they've used these techniques to detect thousands of planets. I know this is actually a little lighthearted because it's laughable. Creating popular images to show what the planets might look like has become something of a cottage industry. The artists say that this work can drive home the idea that these planets truly exist. But still, some people worry that the public might get the wrong idea. Oh, really? So here are 4 how four artists see Glias 1214b. And of course, they have to give you these sci-fi names. Well, it looks like a bowling ball. This looks like a blue bowling ball. This looks like an orange bowling ball. This looks like a kind of a reddish or coral bowling ball. And this looks like a purple bowling ball, which I guess the hole for the thumb is over here. It's ridiculous, friends. It's laughable. And it is entertainment. All of this is entertainment. It is there to produce, it is produced for you to entertain you. And to entertain means to entrap your mind so you don't spend time thinking about reality. You're thinking about this sci-fi. 4 different artists created 4 different interpretations of Gliese 1214b, a planet 40 light years from Earth that is believed to have a watery surface. It's tricky with computer graphics, says Ray Villard, news director for the Space Telescope Science Institute. You can make stuff in such extraordinary detail, people might think it's real. Friends, come on. People might think we've actually seen these features, canyons, all kinds of lakes and rivers. Of course they think that because that's what you want them to think. And I know right now in the comments you're saying, well, Peggy, the telescopes are so much more accurate now. They're higher tech. Okay. Oh, let's have some proof of that. All right, here we go. Of course, they're going to give us a solar ad. That's a topic for another day. The point of these illustrations is to create excitement, to grab the general public's attention. But there is a danger that many people sometimes do mistake some of these illustrations for real photos. Many astronomers actually do see this danger on this kind of illustration because it might create false images on people's minds. Oh, really? You mean like this? You mean like this? And you mean like this? Yes. And there is another funny one as well that I'm going to share with you in just a moment. All right, friends, I wanted to share this image with you as well. Yes, I thought this was really hilarious. Taken from the, granite countertop there. Who knows? Who knows? They are already admitting that these images have been created. Here we go. It's up to writers and captions to explain what the image really is. For us, it's quite the biggest compliment if people do confuse our illustrations for a real image, he jokes. That's very sad. And people are so easily led astray. You can tell by everything that we've been going on for the last couple of years. Artists collaborate with scientists who share what is and isn't known about far-off planets, says Tim Pyle. I showed you that a moment ago, a graphic artist who used to work for Hollywood, doing all the sci-fi, and now he's doing it for NASA. Okay, here's what I want to show you. This is the Tim Pyle and Robert Hurt, who are 2 artists that actually work for NASA. And I'm going to unplug my audio, and I want you to listen to this 1 minute, 25-second video here where they talk about and they joke about creating these images. All right, here we go.
Where we place our virtual camera when we're creating these artist concepts is often very important to telling the story. If we place our camera behind the planet, so the planet is silhouetted by its star, we get a good look at the star.
Another reason we wanted to take this viewpoint is it highlights the fact that there are other exoplanets in the system.
And in fact, you can see that in our first draft. You can see there's the star in the distance, and you can see the other 4 inner planets. That was the first actual image that the scientists got from us. The feedback was that water was way too blue. Yes, it fell within its habitable zone, but it was barely within the habitable zone of the star. So it was likely to be about as hospitable to human life as Mars is.
They asked for more ice on the planet to indicate more water locked up in the form of ice caps. Another thing we did was we actually adjusted the color temperature of the star to reflect color that star would have compared to our own sun.
So, and then after, again, several revisions, we finally ended up with the final image. We see this dingy barely lit planet, and you kind of don't want to go there. Instinctively, you're repulsed by it.
Well, I want to go there, but
Well, okay, you don't want to go there and
I don't want to live there, but
you don't want to stay more than one night, maybe two.
All right, friends, they talk about that they are giving the drafts to the scientist, and it's stunning to me. So they talk about they're creating these images. So why in the world? Yeah, this is all computer generated. This is all sci-fi. All right, let's keep going here. Okay, this is the fellow that I was talking about, Tim Pyle. He's an American filmmaker and animator. What else do I have for you here? The Artist Conception, The Art of Exoplanets, NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory. This Artist Conception shows what the planetary system may look like based on available data about the planet's diameters, masses, and distances. How do you visualize distant worlds that you can't see? A team of artists uses scientific data to imagine exoplanets and other astrophysical phenomena. All right. I've got so many things here. I've got so many links here, friends, that just goes on and on talking about how they are imagining these things. So why in the world? here's another one. Let me show you this one. I've got lots here. Okay, the one that we just looked at, that Robert Hunt, it says NASA illustrator who hides sci-fi Easter eggs in official images of space. He's a visualization specialist at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. Robert Hurt tells us how he balances scientific accuracy and creativity when creating stunning pieces of art that double as realistic depictions of space. I'm just reading the words, friends. They are telling you that these images are not real, that they are computerized illustrations. I have not listened to this video yet, so let's listen to it together, shall we? It's just 1 minute and 55 seconds long. And, you know, I do like to go a little faster. Okay, I'm playing it a little faster, so we'll get through. Here we go.
Is about how we function in the world. And science for me is how the world functions around us. There's always a balance between making something look just amazingly cool and awesome versus representing very correctly the ideas and process. My job is to sort of oversee all of the visual aspects of our science communication for the public. So if I had to pick sort of my favorite piece, it'd have to be this one. This is a representation of what our Milky Way galaxy might look like if we can look down on it from above. Knowing what the Milky Way looks like is kind of tantamount to having someone like drop you down in the middle of Times Square and say, okay, map out all of Manhattan standing at this spot. But what was interesting for me about this piece of art is there are actually features that I put in here for sort of artistic and guess reasons that have subsequently been discovered. In particular, this outer arm here, it looked terribly lopsided as a galaxy if you cut off this arm here, and you had the other arm really nicely down here. And then a couple years later, Thomas Dane, who studies hydrogen gas in the Milky Way, found an arm that followed almost exactly its location and length. Sometimes a piece of art can be considered a hypothesis, but then people can go and take further data. When I start into a project, the goal is to really come up with something that works just purely at an artistic level. But if I were to show this to the researchers, I want them to look at it and go, oh yeah, right, that's what it looks like. A good piece of science visualization art is kind of like a movie trailer. It tells you just enough that you want to go see it, and you have an idea of what you're going to get when you go there. But it doesn't tell the whole story, and you need to go to the movie if you really want to get the whole answer. I just came up with that on the spot. I am so using that from here on.
Mouth. He said that he likes to infuse creativity, that he wants to show the scientist what he thinks it could look like. So that plants in my mind a lot of seeds of doubt. So when I see those images that are crystal clear, that are supposedly taken, you know, how many million of lights, like 4.6 billion light years away, which I don't believe that anyway, it plants the seeds of doubt in my mind. How can that be? So I don't think it can be. And I think that is to capture the imagination and to distract people as well. There are a couple of other things that I wanted to show you. So let me just cue this up as we are finishing up. And this was taken from a press conference. And I'm going to show you this image. Let me cue this up, get this ready to go. And this was from, I'm quickly losing light here, so I'm going to be wrapping up shortly. Here we go. The James Webb Space Telescope. Some of you may have seen this very strange, I thought it was strange, press conference. And it was from the White House. And what grabbed me immediately was the honeycomb hexagon shape. And I know that this James Webb Space Telescope, and I don't even know if I'm going to do more videos on this. I think it's clear that you can see that I'm skeptical about all of this. And it talks about the panels that were created, and they were created in this honeycomb shape, and they give us reasons why. I was curious about this honeycomb because I see it again and again and again in different, I see it at different websites, I see it for different company logos, and I'm going to show you in just a moment and let me know if you know in a comment below, what molecular structure is the same as the honeycomb. I think it's very, very interesting that they are pushing this image onto us. So here we go. This is apparently the image that they got back, and I think it's hilarious that it looks exactly like to me, it looks like it was an artist illustration. We just heard from the artist that they do all the illustrations. There's a division at NASA for the public relation images, and that's what it looks like to me. And we just had evidence of exactly that's what they do. And it looks like the countertop of my best friend who has a kitchen counter with that countertop. So here they are in their little images. And of course, there are 6 sides to the hexagon and 3 people. So that looks like 6, 6, 6 to me. And let's keep going. What else do I have here? I might have a couple of funny memes going on. Oh yes, the heat wave is dangerous for gender non-conforming people. Oh my gosh, these are unrelated. I just wanted to show you. Hotter nights increase the risk of death from heart disease. Of course they do, especially if you're in your 60s. There's another X. Of course, they love the X, Latinx inclusion. And I did a whole thing about the X. And think about the word hex, hexagon. And of course, the energy bills are causing heart attacks and strokes, probably blood clots as well. I'm sure that's exactly what's happening. And these are just some funny memes that I have collected thanks to all my lovely healthy Americans sending these to me. Yes, soil can increase the risk of killer heart disease. I'm absolutely sure that happens. What I want to show you now is this. I want to hop right on over to what does a hexagon represent? Well, the hexagon is also like a beehive, right? So I look at the hive mind. And of course, there are a lot of websites and just popular culture is talking about the hive mind and belonging to the hive and the collective. So it is a notional entity consisting of a large number of people who share their knowledge or opinions with one another. It's basically, here you go, in science fiction, which we've just been looking at, a unified consciousness or intelligence formed by a number of alien individuals. The resulting consciousness typically exerting control over its constituent members. So there we are, the hive mind, and they're pushing this beehive imagery. Now let's take a look a little deeper, shall we? Oh, you can just do an internet search for hexagon and you'll see websites. And here is the molecule, graphene oxide. That's right, the graphene oxide the molecular structure consists of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. I'm not going to talk about graphene oxide publicly on this channel because it probably will get me a strike. You can let me know in a comment below if you know the significance of graphene oxide in our current day and what people are going through. And wouldn't you know it, it looks just like the Webb telescope, and that looks just like NASA's depiction with all of that hexagonal shape. And here we go. Some time ago, when the cooties cure first came out, there was this map, not this one, but similar to this, which is very strange because the states are in the wrong place. It's very weird, but they are doing this kind of depiction, and they were showing the percentage of people that had gotten the cooties cure by state. And I'm looking at it going, this is so weird that the states are not in the right location. And it's very strange to me. Again, they just mess with your mind, but again, with the hexagon shape. And then here we go. What does it mean, a hex? Hex, to cast a spell on, to bewitch, a magic spell, a curse. All right. I came full circle on this video. Thank you everybody who stuck with me. And the design of that Webb telescope is that honeycomb hexagon, and a hex is to cast a spell on, to bewitch, a magic spell or a curse. And that means people are under a spell and they actually don't see the reality, even when the reality is right in their face. NASA comes out, they've said that they're doing the images, that these are artistic renderings. How would that change? Why would that change? I don't believe it has. What say you? All right, friends, this was kind of a fun video to do. Thanks for being on board. I will be back with you in my broadcast tomorrow, and I look forward to seeing you on this channel starting at 5 p.m. Pacific, Monday through Friday, and also at my Living Swell channel, where we talk about positive encouragement and emotional well-being, and that is at 11 a.m. over at Living Swell, and always over at thehealthyamerican.org. Love reading your comments. Thanks for sharing the video and subscribing, and I'll see you in the very next broadcast.